Hello everybody, welcome back to New York Talk. This is the Sky Report, where we look ahead to the next opposition. This time is a Yorkshire derby, as Leeds United come back to New York Stadium for the first time in a few years. We have Darren joining us from the LS11 podcast. How are you doing, Darren?
I'm very good. Thanks for having me on.
Good, thank you for being with us. Let's go back to the start of the season from Leeds. Obviously, relegation from the Premier League, lots of loan clauses and transfer business and takeovers. Just talking about the sort of first month or so, because Farke came in, but because of the takeover issues, you were delayed in a lot of transfer business and hampered by a lot of clauses. Just explain briefly the first month of the season, really, and how difficult that was.
Oh, it was a horrendous summer, really. It really sort of put Leeds back, I think, a good sort of like 5-6 weeks in preparation for the season because of all of the issues they had. One with the takeover happening so late. And then, of course, with all of these relegation clauses, like you've mentioned, that were in a number of people's contracts that were, I think it's obviously par for the course now for most Premier League players. But then, these players was almost sort of holding the team and the club to ransom, getting legal advice. And it got really, really nasty and messy. I think it really sort of like put Leeds sort of back about sort of 5-6 weeks really in their preparation, because Daniel Farke didn't know what team he was going to be able to start competing in the Championship for, which players were going to be there, which players wanted to be there. I think that certainly for that first month of the season, while that transfer window was still open, it was still such a difficult time, I think, and you could see that in the results really. But I think a lot of credit has to be given to Farke on one, how he dealt with all of that during the summer, and how he sort of like after the initial bumpy start to the season, how he has really sort of like corralled the team and got them. He's got the players that actually want to be there. We'll find out in January if there's others. There's still maybe some question marks over Willie Gnonto, whether or not, he was probably advised badly by his agents, but seems to stick around. But he doesn't seem to be sort of in the first team quite a lot. He's used quite a bit. So we'll see in January what happens with that. But I think, it was certainly an interesting start to the season. Not, I think, the preparation we wanted. When you look at other teams like Leicester and how they just went off like a train. So I think, Leeds are sort of like almost playing catch up straight away, really, which, is not what you want to be, certainly as you've just been relegated and you're in the Championship again.
Daniel Farke seems a good character, though. He seems the kind of guy that doesn't get too flustered or bothered by that kind of thing. He seems like the good manager for that kind of situation, really. He's got the skills and management, but he doesn't seem to worry too much. He sort of trusts the players and trusts his process, kind of. Well, I hate that phrase. He does seem to just be quite chilled about it.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke to a couple of Norwich fans, and we did sort of like a podcast with them after the announcement was made, and they didn't have a bad word to say about him. I mean, certainly during their Championship times with Norwich, they had a fantastic time with Farke. It was only really in the Premier League that things sort of like fell apart from him, really. But in the Championship, he certainly was a proven manager. There's no doubt about that. And I think, you mentioned calm, and he really is. And that's exactly what was needed, really, after the complete fiasco of Leeds managers after Marcelo Bielsa went, and going from, within 18 months, going from Marcelo Bielsa to Sam Allardyce, going from, as we've said before, I've said on a number of podcasts, going from champagne to gravy within 18 months is just staggering. And it was sort of doomed, really. It was never going to work. Going from Marsh and then Javi Gracia, and Gracia wasn't the first choice, and then Allardyce. So Farke coming in, I think it was a really good piece of work by the 49ers, who are now the owners of of Leeds United. It was a great bit of work from them,
Mm.
getting him in, proven Championship manager and a calming influence. And you just see how he dealt with all of that crap that was going on in the summer and to the first part. A lot of other managers would have thought, I'm not having any of this, I'm off. But, he's stuck around and he's reaping the rewards for it now. And there's a lot of respect for him from Leeds fans, how he sort of dealt with it all.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. Like you mentioned, the start, Leicester had a great start, and maybe the thing that surprised everybody, and maybe it affected you mainly, was Ipswich making such a good start. Everybody sort of expected Leicester to be where they are. I don't think that's a surprise. But how annoying, I suppose, it is that a surprise package is up there. And what's the gap now? Is it 5 points at the minute? The gap between Ipswich, or a bit more than that?
Really good point, actually. I can tell you because I was just doing some notes for our podcast tomorrow, and Ipswich are on 39 points, Leeds are on 31 points.
Okay.
So yeah, look, it's there's a bit of a gap there, but Leeds are the form team at the moment. Ipswich are dropping points, Leicester are dropping points. Leeds have played both Ipswich and Leicester at their home grounds. They've beaten both of them now. So as you know, it's a long old season. I was looking at one of these Opta stats that do the championship predictors of who's going to place where. And they've still got Leeds. I think they've still got it as it is at the moment. They've got Leicester going up as champions, Ipswich in second, and Leeds in third. And, that's a possibility, I think. I think going into it, at the beginning of the season and the way it was in that first month, if you'd have said to most Leeds fans you'd be in the playoffs, you'd be like, yeah, all right, fine.
Yeah.
But now the way they've sort of played over the last 6-8 weeks, and they're the form team, and I think with the players that they've got, you think, actually, I think they're going to be there or thereabouts come the end of the season to maybe Pip, maybe not Leicester, because Leicester are doing really well, but are dropping some points. But I think catching Ipswich shouldn't be out of the realms of possibility at all. So, yeah, it was a surprise seeing Ipswich up there, but, they've had a good start. But I don't know, someone said you never win anything in December. So
exactly.
let's see what it's like when we get to the last 5 games of the season, because that's when it will start getting really interesting, I think.
Absolutely. Let's move on to what we can expect Friday. What is there a typical formation that Farke likes to set up in, or is he change it up?
I think it might change it up. It all depends on what the injuries he's got, I think, really. There's a few people coming back from injury. It sounds like Struijk is maybe available after missing the last game. So he could be back in defence. Shackleton, possibly. He's back in training. Ruta looks like he may be injured. There's a fitness test happening for him, I think, tomorrow. But he's got Patrick Bamford, who's been a bit out of sorts, I think, so far this season. Look, I think you could pretty much name the team. If Ruta was fit, you could pretty much name the team that was going to start right now. With Pirro, Ruta, Somerville, all blasting forward up front. And that's, I think, what the exciting thing that Farke has brought in is that, Leeds have enjoyed such, in great football, certainly during that Bielsa era. And it's starting to see it come back again now. They're playing some free-flowing football. And, I like the way they're playing, and using Ruta as almost like a number 10. Even though he's sort of an out-and-out striker, he's more of a creative, like just sitting off the strikers. And I really hope he's fit, because seeing him play, he's possibly he started so slowly at Leeds, but now you're looking at him and you're just thinking, oh my God, this guy is an absolute baller. And you look through the team and you got the youngster, Archie Gray, who is Eddie Gray's grand nephew. So there's sort of a bit of Leeds legend in him. And he's incredible. He's just come back from playing for England under 21s. And he is, what is he, 18 years old? and he's going to be a huge, huge talent. I think, so many clubs are sniffing around him. And I think that's the thing at the moment with Leeds is they've got quite a lot of quality in there. The Welshman, Ethan Ampadu, I think, has been the buy of the summer, picking him up for 7 or 8 million. Oh, my God. I mean, he has been... We thought we'd miss Tyler Adams, but not at all. I think most Leeds fans would have Ethan Ampadu over Tyler Adams every day of the week. I think when they're on form and when it's all clicking, it's a frightening attacking options that Leeds have got. And if you're having an off night, I fear.
Yes. Well, knowing us. Bearing that in mind, let's go to predictions. What do you reckon? What's your prediction for the Yorkshire Derby on Friday?
I mean, I'm terrible at predictions. As anybody who listens to the LS11 podcast will know, so I never pick ones that actually will happen. So I'm going to go. I think it's going to be overs on the goals. I'm going to go a very tight 10-9 to Leeds.
Okay, I like it. Bit of entertainment. That's what we want.
Friday night, up on Sky. Yeah, a bit of under the lights. Get some goals in. Entertainment. That's what we want.
Exactly. And just to give everybody a quick shout out for LS11, I'll put the links in the show notes, but where can people find that if they want to get a bit of Leeds content?
If you're a Rotherham fan and you want some Leeds content, then at LS11LUFC on Twitter, and you can find us on YouTube and all the places. So get on and buy some merch as well if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, everybody who was watching. Make sure you subscribe to this channel as well, and give the video a thumbs up, and check us all out. Thank you, everyone, Darren, and up the Millers.